At last night's Battle of the Coral Sea commemorative dinner, President Trump gave a special shout-out.
Thanks also to the legendary, talented golfer, Greg Norman. I used to think I was a great player, and then I played with Greg one time, and I said, well, I'm not going to play golf for a living.
Joining us now is the Hall of Fame golfer and entrepreneur, Greg Norman. What a treat to always have you here.
Good morning, everybody. I love being here, actually.
Well, we talked to you shortly after he became President of the United States, and there was that whole thing about, that phone call was not very nice, although last night President Trump said, hey, the mainstream media made a big deal out of that phone call. That wasn't so bad. Okay, it was a little tense, but it wasn't so bad, right?
Well, that's true. I didn't know the real details of the conversation, but I do know one thing, that the Prime Minister was very impressed with President Trump last night. I do know that he said it was a historic meeting, which is really important because, look, there's no question about it. What happened last night is an indicator of what Australia and America have been like since World War I, basically. And to be able to connect little brother and big brother and keep that alliance and bond keep going forward is really, really important. And I tell you what, it really resonated through last night, from Admiral Harris to everybody who spoke, to Donald Trump, the president, to our Prime Minister. You could feel it. And that's the most important thing about it.
You know what I loved? Sorry to interrupt you. What I loved last night that he did, he went through the list of the World War II veterans that were still alive, that were there at the dinner. And I thought, these local events happen all over the country, but to hear the President of the United States name them individually, men who had served our country and done so much, and then to tell some of the stories about the Yorktown, it was fascinating.
Well, I spent time with 5 of the 7 last night, and it is just what they articulated their memory about the moment they enlisted, who they enlisted with, where they were on the battleship, what happened with their mates beside, transferring over to the U.S. ships to celebrate or just to get together for camaraderie. And that's what the mateship is all about, what's happened over the eons or 100 years of relationships between our military. And the most important thing is where it goes from here.
Well, indeed. I served with some of the best Australian soldiers in Afghanistan, and that bond is real, even on the ground, no doubt. But people know you as a golfer, but you're an entrepreneur, a bit small, big business owner. You design golf courses, do a number of different things. How has the Trump administration affected your business or the business climate?
That's a great question. I think we're starting to see it from the deregulation starting to take place, especially in the golf industry. The more things get deregulated, the more money people have in their pockets, the more disposable income they will have. Golf has been really a byproduct of the GFC, where the disposable income has been taken away from their pocket. Put a little bit of money back in their pockets. People love to play golf. Anywhere between 24 and 26 million people in this country. If we can grow that number back to 26 or 28 million people, guess what that does to the economy? There's a boost to the economy because money's going back into golf. And when you think about the 15,000+ small businesses that golf courses are in this country, you put a boost to that, you're going to put a boost to the economy.
Greg, give us an example. What are some of the regulations that you have to jump through, the hoops you have to jump through in order to get something?
Well, look, just take from a DA standpoint, when you get development approval, the regulations you got to go through to that takes a long period of time. If we can cut that down, just this one thing alone, if we can cut that down from 18 months to 2 years down to 6 months, you're bringing in jobs a lot quicker. You're bringing jobs not only in golf course construction side, but hiring of superintendents and people working on the golf course. Then you look at the clubhouses, people hiring in clubhouses. So it really has a dramatic spread very, very quickly once you get the project going.
You have known Donald Trump for a very long time because you're both in the golf industry, both land developers as well. You were queried by one of the Australian newspapers on his 100th day to review his first 100 days. And it was interesting because you said that it's unfair to judge him by the first 100 days, and you feel he has a clear vision of what he wants to get done because he is a businessman, which would surprise a lot of people, and he's getting more presidential every day.
Well, he is, even last night. His delivery last night was very, very presidential. Every speech you listen to him now, he doesn't ad-lib as much. He stays on course about the delivery he wants to make. And yes, I think it is ridiculous how somebody can judge somebody in the first 100 days, especially going from the boardroom to the Oval Office. Different if you are an experienced politician, right? Switching from wherever you are, whatever party you are, into the Oval Office or White House. He's had to learn transition-wise, and he's got beaten up pretty hard about it, but kudos to the team he's brought around him. They've really supported him all the way from Rex Tillerson all the way down. So you've got to let that evolve over a period of time. You've got to let his personality kind of be very malleable with the people he's working with, and you're starting to see that now.
Yeah.
And what he did, with Syria, and it was a very, very measured response in Syria. And look, even though he speaks very, very heavily about North Korea, that message has to be heard out there. Whether he acts on it or not, I don't know.
Well, thank you very much for dropping by. We know you got a busy breakfast. He's going to have breakfast with the Prime Minister of Australia here shortly. Greg, thank you very much.
Thank you much. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Greg.
Appreciate it.